Amid an unusually unstable atmospheric pattern, the southwestern United States has experienced in recent hours one of the most extreme rainfall events in recent years. The intense downpours associated with Tropical Storm Priscilla have triggered a climate emergency that has left vast regions of Colorado and Arizona submerged. The phenomenon has produced historic rises in mountain rivers, road disruptions, and structural damage, leaving dozens of communities isolated and without essential services. The most severe impact has been concentrated in the state of Colorado, where the overflow of the San Juan River and several mountain tributaries has turned entire cities into disaster zones. In Pagosa Springs, the river's flow exceeded 7,200 cubic feet per second, doubling its normal rate and flooding the entire downtown area during the night of October 11th. The water surged forcefully through the city, covering streets, parks, and residential areas within minutes. The main access road, Highway 160, became completely submerged, forcing its total closure. Emergency crews were immediately mobilized to evacuate residents living near the riverbanks amid relentless rainfall that lasted for hours. Visibility dropped drastically, complicating rescue efforts and the deployment of heavy machinery to clear critical zones. Rainfall began Saturday afternoon and intensified rapidly, turning downtown Pagosa Springs into a torrent of murky water carrying mud, branches, and debris. Water entered businesses, parking lots, and homes, damaging electrical infrastructure and overwhelming the urban drainage systems, which became completely blocked. State transportation authorities confirmed structural damage to the main bridge on Highway 160, which had to be closed for inspection. For hours, engineering teams assessed the stability of the structure before allowing traffic to resume. Although water levels began to fall at dawn, the streets remained covered in sediment and accumulated mud, keeping cleanup operations active throughout the day. In La Plata County, the situation was equally critical. The Vallecito Creek and Grimes Creek streams overflowed violently, impacting dozens of residential areas. More than 390 homes had to be evacuated due to the risk of levee failure along the shores of Vallecito Lake. Intense rainfall caused partial breaches in the containment walls, increasing the water flow within minutes and triggering an immediate emergency response. Rain gauges recorded between 3 and 5 inches of rain in less than 24 hours, amounts exceeding the region's normal monthly totals. Hydrologists confirmed that the basin's water flow had reached its highest point in over a decade. For this reason, the National Weather Service kept flood warnings in effect from Monday through early Tuesday due to the continued threat of landslides and overflows in low-lying areas. Governor Jared Polis declared a state of emergency to speed up the arrival of resources for the repair of roads, bridges, and drainage systems. Engineers, National Guard teams, and local volunteers were deployed across the region to clear waterways, remove fallen trees, and restore traffic routes. The scale of the damage led to the extension of the emergency declaration to neighboring counties. While Colorado worked to contain the rising waters, Arizona began facing the same storm system with equally serious consequences. In Gila County, the cities of Globe and Miami were submerged under torrential rain that turned dry washes into raging rivers. Pinal Creek, normally inactive during the fall, became a violent current that tore through the downtown area with destructive force. U.S. Highway 60, the main route connecting Superior and Globe, was closed in both directions after water completely overtook the roadway. Dozens of drivers were trapped and rescued by emergency crews working through the night under dangerous conditions. Efforts were hampered by heavy mud and rocks dragged down from surrounding hillsides. Local authorities in Globe and Miami activated emergency protocols and ordered preventive evacuations in the most vulnerable neighborhoods. Power outages spread across wide sectors as pumping stations failed under the pressure of overloaded drainage systems. The distribution of drinking water was also temporarily affected. In downtown Miami, material damage was extensive. Several main streets were buried under a thick layer of sediment, and public transportation services were suspended due to poor road conditions. Public works crews began cleanup operations, although difficult terrain limited access to the hardest-hit areas. The Arizona Department of Transportation deployed engineers to assess the stability of bridges and culverts along the Globe-Miami corridor, where sinkholes and landslides were reported. The severity of the rainfall led to the temporary closure of the Gila County Disaster Assistance Center, delaying relief efforts to the affected communities. Governor Katie Hobbs announced a risk mitigation plan to strengthen infrastructure in the most exposed counties, particularly in central and southern Arizona. Meteorologists explained that remnants of Tropical Storm Priscilla concentrated tropical moisture over the Sonoran Desert, intensifying the rainfall as it collided with cold air from the northern mountains. The National Weather Service warned that the atmospheric conditions that caused these floods could become more frequent as climate change continues to alter the Southwest's monsoon patterns. Hydrology experts emphasize that soil saturation and deforestation in higher elevations have significantly increased the vulnerability of local watersheds to extreme weather events. By Sunday night, rainfall began to ease, although rivers and streams continued to flow at dangerously high levels. Emergency crews began clearing urban areas and reopening state highways. Recovery efforts focused on neighborhoods and bridges that had been hit hardest by the floods. In Pagosa Springs, municipal workers inspected damaged structures and removed debris accumulated around the supports of the San Juan River Bridge. Electrical service was partially restored, and local businesses began cleaning water-damaged properties. The full economic impact is still being assessed.
You see that? Hey, don't come over here now.
Governor Polis confirmed that no fatalities had been reported, although material losses were substantial. Environmental authorities warned that erosion along the riverbanks would require long-term restoration work to prevent future overflows. The rehabilitation process is expected to take several weeks. In La Plata County, the receding water allowed engineers to inspect damaged levees. According to preliminary reports, 90 homes were directly affected, and at least 2 were completely destroyed by the force of the current. Technical teams began planning the reconstruction of levees and canals. Local authorities urged residents to remain alert to additional rainfall expected in the coming days. Cleanup and repair crews continue to work tirelessly to restore normal conditions in the affected areas. Experts believe that soil stabilization across the region could take weeks.
All underwater.
The National Hurricane Center reported that although Priscilla has weakened, it continues to inject moisture into the southwest, which could produce isolated rainfall in the following days. In southern Arizona, municipalities such as Claypool, San Carlos, and Peridot remain under weather watch due to the risk of flash floods. Local authorities have reinforced retaining walls and are monitoring river levels hourly, especially in sections where water pressure has already caused visible erosion. Coordination among state agencies has been crucial to prevent new emergencies. Across the Southwest, climatologists agree that the magnitude of the flooding caused by Priscilla confirms a growing trend toward extreme weather events. The states of Colorado and Arizona are considering a joint regional emergency declaration to facilitate access to federal reconstruction funds. As the waters recede, the extent of the damage becomes increasingly evident. Destroyed streets, stranded vehicles, weakened bridges, and thick layers of mud covering entire neighborhoods. Although emergency systems have responded swiftly, the recovery process will be long and demanding. Priscilla, which seemed to weaken as it entered U.S. territory, has demonstrated its destructive capacity in regions typically characterized by arid climates. The event has exposed the vulnerability of rural communities to the growing intensity of extreme weather phenomena across the American Southwest.